Like last year we did a blended drink and she spilled it all over the counter and all that stuff. So it was like very funny.
This is going to be exciting.
I enjoy that look there of like, wow, we haven't even started and you already betrayed me.
Yeah. Hello everybody, welcome to Literary Lushes with our once a year special with 13 short literary spirits. Got it right, look at you, nailed it.
You got it.
Yes. Yeah, you're gonna finish that up. All right, I'm gonna finish that intro because she's taking care of the baby. And I'm your host Samantha, and that is Megan.
Hi, and Alex.
And off-screen credit to Alex, and we are joined today by the wonderful co-host of the Socially Intoxicated Awareness Podcast, or Intoxipod.
Hey.
Wow.
You got it. You did better than we did.
Yeah. We always trip up at the beginning of every episode we do. So that was very impressive. Thanks for having us on.
So good this morning, so her brain is working very well. Her chakras are aligned.
Yeah.
Also, we picked Literary Lushes, thinking it would be easy to say, and we mess that up sometimes too.
Yeah, we sort of went into it just picking the most
obnoxious,
most hardest name to say, and just sort of went along with it.
For our listeners, these guys appeared on an episode, I think back in June. We covered the second Miss Thorne book, and then Megan and I talked to them for, like a solid 2 hours for one of their episodes, so I'm sorry about that.
It was such a fun time.
It was a very good conversation.
I still look at all the American stuff and go, it'd be good for American.
Right.
I love when I listened to the episode, you started it off with that part, and that was great. I really liked that. That was so funny.
All I ever think about when I'm looking at stuff, and I'm like, yeah, someone could totally dress as that for American Halloween or American party.
All right, so Tobi, since you're the one who recommended the story, why don't you tell us a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today?
Sure, awesome. Yeah, so in honor of Halloween, we were thinking, neither Scott or myself really are horror readers. So we were thinking, okay, what could we kind of present? And in a similar vein to what you're doing, one of my personal favorite authors, Drew Hayes, does a thing every year where he, on the 13 days leading up to Halloween, releases a chapter of like I wouldn't call it homebrew, just from from a story he makes up, one chapter every day leading up to Halloween. But the fun thing is that it's choose your own adventure. So at the end of each chapter, the audience gets a vote to see where we go, and there's dead ends and there's right choices and wrong choices. Very fun, and it kind of branches off into these really fun timelines, following the story of this same group that comes together every Halloween and just gets up to weird shenanigans. The story is about an unnamed protagonist, his best friend and potential drug addict Jim, and their friend Victoria, who is the heiress of one of the big houses of Halloween. So a big secret magic society, very fun. And then the crux of the story is that every Halloween, Victoria comes up with fun dress ideas, and whatever costume you put on that she gives you, you become. So first year you become a wizard, then a demon, cowboy, pirate, all that sort of stuff, mad scientist. And it's this every year it continues the story in a lore relevant way, and it's just really, really fun to be part of, but also to read. Anything Drew Hayes writes is in my mind an instant classic. So from also the way it's written, it's very you immediately feel like part of the main group of people that are dealing in the story. You immediately feel converge into the world. It doesn't take long. It doesn't take more than 5 minutes. You're already in there, and the way it's written is very, very cool. Awesome. It's very clingy. It keeps you in. Yeah, and the decision you make in 1 year.
I was gonna say, it's got to keep you in, right? With the choose your own adventure, you're always on the hook to find out what's next. Yeah, and every year the choices you make by the end of the game, by the end of the story for that year, the choices kind of carry over. So the way you and your housemate Jim, or your best friend and housemate Jim, kind of develop your apartment, and the housemates you get always kind of depends on who you picked in the last years. It's very fun. So a lot of canon, once it's in there, it's in there. Yeah. Oh, all right. So in the story, whatever costume Victoria gives the people, they become. So what would you guys pick?
Well, I've only ever really had one costume,
because I never bought into the whole like dressing up thing, which is a banana costume.
A banana costume.
So
This is fun. This is a fun 15-minute story block right here.
Yes, I just turned into a banana, man.
Every year in Germany, like where we grew up, there's carnival essentially once a year, and it's considered the 5th season of the year. People take it religiously. And so once a year, you have a few days where you always dress up. And Tobi every year had his banana outfit. So as he's tall anyway, sticking out of a crowd, but this time like a huge banana. And every year he would put a different twist on it. So once he was like a banana scientist and also wore a lab coat over the banana thing. Another time, and this was probably my favorite, was the Mexican banana, and like put a sombrero on top of it and had
I had maracas. I was inspired by what Family Guy with Brian.
Oh yeah.
The peanut butter jelly song.
Yeah.
The scientist banana just reminds me of Pickle Rick from Rick and Morty.
Oh,
Yeah, I did it first though.
They stole your
The
idea.
funniest shit I've ever seen. Turn myself
Right.
into
For
banana.
those of you listening along, real quick, we're adding, and apparently this recipe makes two drinks. We're doing an apple cider Long Island iced tea, and I added 1 ounce of triple sec into the shaker. What's next?
White rum.
White rum. All right. So Tobi would be a banana with maybe some sort of profession. So that would be interesting.
Yeah.
And 1 ounce of white rum. 1 ounce of white rum. I don't know.
Well, considering I know it turns into a reality, I think I would, and it only stays that way for one night.
For one night, yeah.
Okay. I think I'd be Spider-Man.
It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah. And even the first Spider-Man where it's like DNA change and he shoots stuff out of his skin.
Oh, you're trying to game the system, huh?
Yeah.
No, they don't like
Not
that.
the mechanical one where you like
Not the
push-
mechanical one. I don't know. I grew up with Tobey Maguire. That was always the cool thing.
I mean, and if you're gonna be Spider-Man for one night, you might as well be Spider-Man for one night.
But would you already
Exactly.
know how to use your web shooters, or is it gonna be one of the things like when you go to grab a drink or go to the bathroom, you like splishing shit
I'll
everywhere?
have the whole scene where I jump off buildings and just don't shoot any webs. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so
that's a fun question.
Webs and Toby gets stuck to the wall, like, oops, my bad.
Well, I'll be a banana. I wouldn't have consciousness, so I guess.
I'm adding
But-
to 1 ounce of gin, and Megan has her costume pick. I don't know what I would pick. I gotta get chopping on that. What would you pick?
I would probably debate between like a dragon or a wizard, something that,
Like the Game of Thrones dragon. That's a badass
That's
dragon.
a winner, though.
Mall
Right, they
from.
don't have.
Yeah,
Yeah, they have
I
dragons.
don't know.
They
I
have
would
the
do
wings
my own
on
drag.
the
I make
armor,
my own dragon costume so that I can pick my own like skills and weaknesses. I would definitely fly, definitely, throw out fire. I'm all for that. I
What
think
about
werewolf would be cool. Very violent, but cool.
I was thinking of villains as well.
but then
Like Voldemort. That would kind of be fun. It would
I
kind
just
of be
like
fun.
one night, like
Yeah,
just
for
an easy
it's
night
just a
of-
one night fling, you
Casual
know.
genocide.
Yeah,
Why
it's
not?
just it's
just
nothing
like a
serious.
casual serial killing spree. All right, and now I'm adding an ounce of apple flavored vodka.
which they also have green apple vodka, but I just got the regular apple vodka. So if you like green apples better, they do sell, and where at Total Wines here in the States, they do give you the little mini bottles, so you don't have to actually go out and buy a huge $32 bottle if you only want to have it a couple of times.
Or you could just use regular vodka, like we're
The
really.
land of the free, where you can buy small bottle vodka.
And
Yeah.
pre-sliced apples.
That's the apple. And now I'm gonna add in just a casual 4 ounces of apple cider.
You can get those here too at McDonald's
Woo!
Yeah, oh, fun.
in the Happy Meals.
Oh, shit.
You put this away after I said to be.
I was expecting you to just kind of plug in from the gallon, and I had the 2 shots of vodka vine in my head there.
I kind of thought about it, but as I've already established, we run a very high profile professional ship over here.
Yeah, nothing gets spilled on that table.
Nope, I just missed
Never.
the apple cider on Megan's phone.
That's
So what are
lovely
you
that you
guys
can.
drinking over there in those fancy glass bottles?
We're drinking Bitburger, which is a German beer.
As you know German names very well, you can probably pronounce it to perfection.
Oh yeah. Well, it is mirrored, so they be pronouncing it
So it's spelled bite without the E and then burger.
Okay.
Bitburger.
Bitburger. Got it.
Yeah.
That's the American version. Yeah.
Yeah. Not terrible.
Bitburger.
Did you get that stuff over in the States?
For everybody who can see, I just added apple slices to the sides.
Cute.
All audiophile listeners will appreciate that.
Yes. Well, we can see the picture when it's all done, and so they'll get to see it. So Megan messed up because you're supposed to put half and half, and she just poured the whole thing in her glass. Rude.
Oh, great.
So, Tobi, so what is the current situation in that story, or it hasn't started yet, but I guess where did it leave off? And you guys vote at the end of each year, so you kind of know in general what some of the possible starting stories will be for the following year?
Okay, I think that was a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Tell more details.
I think Scott's a bit behind on the story, but I don't think you'd mind if I
go for it.
Say a few things. So the place the story is leaving off is, as I mentioned, the story has dead ends, right? Where the readers can make a wrong choice, which will lead to character death, which doesn't end the story though. It restarts you at the previous decision, and then another decision is instantly made.
Kind of like Groundhog Day or something like similar.
Yeah. And over the years, it sort of consolidated that Drew didn't want that to be, just like a device for, his writing, but he wanted that to be a story device. So it became clear that the characters in the story are aware that death will lead to essentially rebirth. And he's been doing a really good job in the past years of like hiding numerical codes in his chapters, which you can figure out. And then usually it's a bit of like code breaking and like, where's Waldo kind of stuff. And then usually you get the option to input your own answer at the end, so you get option A, B, C, and then D is a blank field. And if you get if enough people get the numerical code, we kind of unlock like a secret. And that has been a lot about how the main character is kind of being reborn if he ever dies and if a wrong decision is ever made, which is kind of this big mystery because we've been traveling to Fairy, or like to like an alternate dimension essentially. And we've met death and these sort of things, like really fun, like really, if you're in the story deciding this every year, I've joined this the second time they ever had it. I've been voting on this. Being part of it is so much fun of like, okay, I've been code breaking. I've been finding out these secrets about my characters. Very fun.
Super interactive.
So that's sort of where it stops.
Yeah, and then, is the code breaking like obvious, or is it like one of those Easter eggs that you have to like know what to look for?
No, well, neither. I think a lot of people reading it will catch on to the point that there is something going on with like, sometimes, for example, like numbers aren't written, they are in like number format. You catch on to the clue of like, okay, there's a reason he's putting every like house number as like specifically written things, or sometimes he will like bold in like a wall of text, he will bold like a single letter.
And that's weird.
Yeah, so like figuring out that there is a code is pretty simple, but then like kind of trying to code break it a bit does require a bit of like prior knowledge. Sometimes it's, for example, what was it, 2 years ago or so, it was a phone number that was mentioned in like 2 years before was a numerical code somewhere in there. And if you figured it out, you could call the person that connects to that phone number. Very fun. And we got that one. He did a Q&A where he said so many codes have been missed though.
God.
Just imagine the size of the folder he has to prepare for all the contingencies.
That's what I was just thinking of.
At the very beginning, he probably made a list of all possible costumes that could have been picked and wrote everything about like possible directions.
I think a lot of it though with him, because he also has a D&D live action podcast, right, called Authors and Dragons. I think a lot of it for him, like this is kind of like a way of writing the story like you would DM something maybe. So the general story progression is out there, but then the way it kind of progresses and the way it happens is more connecting major points. Hey, that's a good pour.
Yeah, well done.
So for those of you listening, Megan just single-handedly opened a can and poured some lemon lime soda
while feeding.
While holding a child.
And I'm just standing here enraptured by Tobi and Scott telling me about this Choose Your Own Adventure. So I'm doing nothing. All right, you want to give this a try? Yep. Cheers.
I'm sorry, I just want to say, it's really amazing that you're doing all of this while holding an active child.
Also, the way you're standing right now with your
Insane.
drink in hand and baby in arm, you've probably seen How I Met Your Mother, but it reminds me of when they take their baby to the bar for the very first outing. And that picture, the way you're standing there, it fits.
Yeah, I've not done that. I mean, moms are superheroes. I say that pretty much anytime I talk to any of my
I'd be a mom.
I was going to say,
yeah,
I'm
there we
taking back
go.
my banana thing. I'll just with
Ultimate
my mom.
answer. Yeah,
That's good.
banana mom.
Ultimate
Yeah.
answer.
But mama.
You know what? Maybe I would be a guy for a day just to see what it's like.
That's
why
an
I'm a
that's an
wizard.
easy answer though.
That's why I said wizard and not a witch. Ha 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 ha. Listen,
I
I
mean,
always thought wizard was gender neutral. So
exactly. I want to disagree with all men are wizards, all women are witches.
What?
Witches and wizards are fundamentally different, you know.
Yeah.
Wizards are like practitioners of the arcane, and witches are like, you know, like more kind of natural arcane.
Name
arcanists.
one male witch.
So like a warlock, I guess.
Thank
would be
you.
the-
There's
Actually,
not one
there
male
probably
witch.
is one.
No, there's
Wait a minute.
not.
No, there is.
Can you name one male witch?
Oh, men can be witches.
Yeah. Right? Harry
Can you name
Potter.
one?
Well,
Harry
technically
Potter?
in Harry Potter.
Yeah,
they
it's
call it
all of this is because of Harry Potter.
Not just.
And
There's in
it's
all stories, there's not a male witch.
Maybe because they're called warlocks. That's what Google
The
said.
Witcher. Oh yeah, toss a coin to your Witcher.
But the Witcher, is he a witch?
No, Witcher is
A witch hunter?
well, the Witcher.
I don't know.
I'm not sure if Witcher is like a
know.
mythological.
Y'all getting
Anyways, we've gone off topic.
Anyways, this
So
drink is
mom,
this
ultimate
is
Halloween.
I can tell you.
your
I can
sleep.
tell you female.
So the first thing I
female
got
wizards though.
right?
Yeah, I
This
know
is-
that. That's why I asked it the other way.
Yeah, but this is
Witches
oh
are
boy.
exclusive to women.
This is
too good.
This is potent. You can't taste the alcohol at all. Ooh,
That
not
means
even a
it's
little bit.
well done.
Not even a little bit. Actually, I don't even know what I really taste. It's just like
Heaven.
a crispier apple cider.
Just like a 10:30 cocktail kind of flavor.
Yeah, it's 10:30 in the morning
11.
over here.
It's 11.
It's 11 o'clock in the morning.
And then
over
that
here.
counts.
Yeah.
Hey, it's 5 o'clock somewhere and it's actually 5 o'clock
It's 5
here.
o'clock here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, when you're up at 3 a.m., 11 a.m. is, happy hour.
Afternoon,
Exactly.
Yeah. I get that,
early
Yeah.
evening.
but more from like a drinking perspective.
So I have another question about the story. So when I was taking a peek at the website, it looked like it had a bunch of options. So does he just give you like the synopsis of the choices? Like, how in a traditional choose your own adventure, it's like, if you go through the door on your right, turn to page 7. If you go through the door on your left, turn to page 23. Or is it a little bit more fleshed out?
No, it's chapter by chapter. So it's you finish a chapter and then at the end you get 3 choices, and then all the readers vote together in one kind of voting box. And it's actually a few thousand people at this point, I'm pretty sure. And then the next chapter is the progression of the story with the choice you've made.
Cool.
Yeah.
But the voting only takes place during those 13 days. So
Right.
when you go on right now, you only see the actual published stories.
Yeah, I mean, you can find us wherever they have podcasts, pretty much under Sotoxipod or Socially Intoxicated Awareness Podcast.
On Instagram, you can find us at Socially Intoxicated Awareness. That is at Socially Intoxicated Awareness. We rarely post anything, but you will know when there's a new episode out. That's about it. Thank you so much for listening and for having us on.
Oh yes,
Thank
thank you for joining us. I'm so
Yeah.
excited this year we added
Yes.
guests with us. It makes it a little more fun.
And we're sorry. So
Sorry
That's-
for
And do check out Drew Hayes though. Drew
Okay.
Hayes, author of Superpowers, Fred, the utterly uninteresting and unadventurous tales of Fred the Vampire Accountant, on DrewHayesNovels.com. Very fun. Great
Also,
author.
we cannot wait to invite you back onto the Sotoxipod and see you there soon for a nice conversation that we'll see where it takes us then.
debauchery.
I was pregnant last time, right? So I couldn't drink.
You couldn't.
Exactly.
Oh,
This
it
time,
didn't
you can
fly.
really get in on the roller
Oh
coaster.
man, I'm gonna make sure I have a sitter for that.
Just clear the whole thing.
Oh,
Kinda warned
Yeah,
you.
I was gonna say we can record a bit later at our time so that you guys are a bit later in the day.
Yeah, so it's more
And don't ruin
acceptable
the rest
for
of
you.
your day.
That
10
does not
a.m. is
matter.
fine. 10 a.m. is fine.
Yeah, it's easier to find a day sitter usually.
And with that, we say, stay lively with your libations. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Are you sucking your fingers in cheers?